I've gone from doing facials to looking at the body as a systematic, what's the root, what's the trigger.
If we can really get to the crux of what the problem is, like
100%.
This is just a message from your body, a message from your skin. You can activate the vagus nerve, which is the physiological connection between your emotional health and your physical health.
Because people don't talk about this kind of thing.
No.
They don't realise how unhealthy their systems are.
If you can understand your body on a deeper level, how it functions, why it's doing what it's doing, what your skin needs to function, all the vitamins, you look at food very differently.
What's your views on things like meat consumption?
Actually, the biggest contributor to intolerances is...
Hello and welcome to Treatment Room Conversations, the Skin and Wellbeing podcast. I'm Tamrin and I am your host. I'm a skin specialist based in the UK and can't wait to share some really insightful conversations with you. Today I am joined by Frankie.
Hello.
I am really excited for our chat today. Frankie is a detox specialist and mindset coach. I've been following you for about 3 years, I want to say, on Instagram. And every time I see your posts, I feel like they really resonate.
Oh.
They resonate with my business. They resonate with my clients. So I feel like every time I see it, just really interested.
Oh,
so
that's so nice to hear.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you agreed to come in today because I feel
you're
welcome. So I feel like a lot of my clients are going to take a lot from this conversation.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're going to try and focus the conversation a little bit about problematic skin and nutrition and gut health and all those good things. So first of all, would you mind telling us a little bit about your background, sort of how you've got to what you're doing now, essentially?
Yeah, so I think actually I've been in the wellness industry my whole career. When I left school, I went to college, studied in beauty therapy, loved it, but very quickly learned that I needed something more. And I needed more to be doing more and kind of learning a bit more beyond what we were learning at college. So I did go straight into industry, but then in about my early 20s, I specialised in colon hydrotherapy.
Yeah.
So for anyone that doesn't know, that's colonics, carrying out colonics, gut health.
That really, super sexy subject of colonics.
Yeah, lots of poo talk. Just get that out there now.
Yeah. So there'll be a bit of that in this podcast.
Yeah, love that. And that actually was, specialising in that was also a real catalyst for my own wellness journey as well. Just to add a bit of context, I have a genetic condition. PCD, which is it has similarities to cystic fibrosis.
Okay.
So really respects the respiratory condition, respiratory system.
Yes.
Also fallopian tubes and
hearing,
chest, all of those kind of things. So as I moved into this new wellness space, learning about the gut, how that impacts on the rest of the body, and also the connection between physical and emotional health, all of that. I was able to support my own well-being, but also really see how that impacted me and could make then the connection with my clients as well. So from there, I worked in a clinic in London. Did go for a short period working as an educator at the college, but left there after a few years and then set up my own business. Yeah. So I've had my own business now for the last 8 years.
Yes.
And I had a clinic when the pandemic happened, when we entered into the pandemic. Everything kind of changed for me business-wise. Yeah. And I decided to close my clinic, but to be able to support people in a different way. Yes. So that was really moving into the online space. Yeah. So now I support women in business, high-achieving women, ambitious women, with their physical and their emotional well-being. Yeah, amazing. With bringing all the gut health stuff on board. Yeah. But that's also where mindset comes in as well, because our emotional health and our physical health are really connected.
Yes, yeah. Amazing. Wow. So you've done a lot, and I feel like quite similarly to me, when I got into industry, it was fairly superficial.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, beauty therapy, makeup, bit of skincare, you know. I've found on my journey, I've gone from doing facials to looking at the body as a systematic, what's the root, what's the trigger, how's the internal health, because that side of things is so important. And I think it's that deeper depth of being able to help people
100%,
which is really rewarding, isn't it? When you're doing the superficial stuff, you feel
really
a sense
peeling back the layers on
absolutely
what actually is going on on a deeper level.
Yes. And do you feel like sort of in your journey, what you've learned and all of that progression has really helped you with your own health? And
100%. I mean, when I look at the child that I was on all the antibiotics, numerous operations, I won't ever be able to get rid of the condition, but how that manifests itself within my body has hugely changed. I've been able to heal many, many symptoms with the knowledge. And with natural, I guess, healing rather than sort of those frequent antibiotics, because that's it.
It's such a sort of fascinating notion that people turn to medicine and medication all the time. I had someone message me this morning who I've been helping her on her skin journey, and I think she was like, oh, I'm going to go to a dermatologist, and their job is to prescribe medication. And I'm like, we're missing the point here. We've got to get to the root of the cause. You know, medication will temporarily help things, mask things, but no real long-term effects. So,
and this is it, isn't it? It's like there is absolutely a place for medication. There's a place for antibiotics. There's a place for all the treatment that's available. But I think thinking about our bodies and our skin and what we experience, the symptoms that we experience. If we can really get to the crux of what the problem is, like the symptom is the message in my eyes. I'm sure you're the same.
Absolutely, yes,
like
100%.
This is just a message from your body, a message from your skin.
It's a signal of there's almost like a warning light on a car. There's something going on. We need to identify, and it's almost getting so in tune, so in touch with your body, noticing patterns, noticing habits, and really looking as your body is super systematic. Like I feel like we're just like little factories. Everything's going and ticking by nicely, but if something falls out of line, there's like a blockage, there's something not quite right. So just take me back a little bit. I mean, this is one of those topics that, it's not very sexy, but time doing colonics. How much of a difference did you see in people's health through doing those treatments, and also their skin and just their body in general? Because I feel like it's one of those things that people probably don't really think about doing something like that. But I think the health benefits are massive, aren't they?
100%. And I think when you can understand what our bodies are functioning. They are a functioning vessel, let's say. There are many different processes that are going on in the body all the time. And as you know, with skin's an organ, and it's a functioning thing.
And it's always changing.
The colon is like you go for a poo in the toilet, you flush it away. That's that done. And it's the same with the body. The body dumps everything into the colon for you to get rid of, to flush away. But when we don't go to the toilet regularly, and when I say regularly, I'm like a minimum once a day. Ideally 2 to 3 times a day for a good, healthy, comfortable bowel movement. And when the body isn't going, when you aren't opening your bowels regularly, your colon becomes really toxic. And because the colon will then reabsorb all the nasties that are in our poo and sitting there in our colon, it affects the rest of the body. So to have a colonic, to really flush the bowel with that warm water, and to get rid of the waste, the toxins, and also old hormones that are sat there. Old bacteria.
I guess stagnation of any kind, really.
Exactly. And anything that's stagnant is like a breeding ground for disease.
For bacteria and disease.
So to be able to flush that away, flush that out, it has so many different benefits on the body, but through the colon as well. You can hydrate the body.
Yes.
You can activate the vagus nerve, which is the physiological connection between your emotional health and your physical health.
Yes.
You can, there's just so many things that you can work with through the colon throughout the rest of the body.
Wow. That is really fascinating. It's actually making me want to go for treatment now. I'm like, I also do really believe that, like, you know, if it's a breeding ground for bacteria and disease, you know, it's something that people should be doing. And I feel like, to me, any kind of stagnation is, you know, the start of disease. And toxins as well. If you're not flushing toxins, I'm always really alarmed when clients, if we start talking about actual, you know, bowel movements, things like, oh, I go like every 5 days once. That's really bad. But people have almost, because people don't talk about this kind of thing, they don't realise how unhealthy their systems are. And, you know, you shouldn't need things like, you know, laxatives or coffee, like anything to prompt that system. It should be functioning naturally. And if it's not,
so many things affect that as well.
Yeah.
But if we think, as I just mentioned, if you think about your poo is literally your waste and your toxins, it's the crap that your body can't breathe out, can't sweat out, and can't pee out. So it's just
flushing it out.
Yeah, this is like the last thing that needs to happen to be able to, and we're talking about toxins and detoxing. Yeah. Your body is detoxing all the time.
Yes.
It's a real process that your body is going through all the time to eliminate the toxins out of the body, and going to the toilet is part of that.
And in terms of diet, so I look at food in a very different way to how I used to look at food. So I always look at, okay, what is this giving me? What nutritional value is this food? Am I getting enough fiber? Am I getting enough protein? Am I getting enough antioxidants? You know, you want to get as much of that in your diet as possible. But I guess if somebody is eating so wrong, that affects all of those systems, doesn't it? So obviously, what, you know, the importance of food, I understand it, but what is the importance of a good diet on, you know, your gut?
So I have I 100% everything that you say, when you really get to understand what food is and its purpose. Our food is our fuel for our body. It's our immune system. It's got all of our vitamins and all of our minerals in there, everything that our body could need. And I think that if we can begin to, I think food is such a big topic because society is very much about weight loss and creating this body image. So first of all, I want to say, I think there's food that feeds the soul and food that feeds the body.
I do. Don't get me wrong. I do a lot of soul food as well. Like I don't eat completely clean. I eat chocolate. I love pizza. I love Italian food. I love pasta. But it's kind of like those daily habits that, like you just said, the whole world is like, oh, let's lose weight. And I get girls coming in with incredibly problematic skin. And they start their day with a cup of coffee. They skip breakfast because they think it's going to make them lose weight. I actually had somebody not long ago tell me that, you know, if she eats breakfast, she thinks she puts on weight. I'm like, no, if you're eating the right thing.
Eating is so distorted, isn't it? And I think if we can remember that being slim and being healthy are
two different
very
things.
different things.
Yes, absolutely.
And if you can understand your body on a deeper level, how it functions, why it's doing what it's doing, what your skin needs to function, all the vitamins. You look at food very differently because you're looking at food as though you're feeding the body and supporting the processes, rather than trying to keep it as slim as can be.
Absolutely.
So from a gut health perspective, it's really important that your body has, you can really hit the nutritional markers, but also eating lots of different fiber. Fiber comes in lots of different forms, in lots of different fruits and vegetables and whole food. Probably plant foods, if we're going to put it in a box. And you know, when we talk about eating more plant foods, it's not about going vegan.
No.
It's about
just incorporating them into your diet, isn't it?
More into your diet. And being able to support the gut bacteria in particular with different fibre. But also if we can fill out our diet more with the good food, then it will help to fight off what we're consuming in other areas.
Absolutely. It's balance, isn't it? It's that 80-20 rule.
Yeah.
You know, I say that a lot in clinic, because I think it's very unrealistic to expect anybody to ever be perfect all the time.
No.
And you don't have to be either. It's just balance, isn't it? And interestingly, I wasn't actually going to ask you this, but I feel this is what's quite nice about a free-flowing conversation, the fact that we've never even spoken before. What's your views on things like meat consumption? Do you think we need meat for optimal health, or?
So I just have to say I'm not a vegan.
No.
But a majority of my food is, I'm very conscious about eating more plant-based food.
Yes, yeah.
Meat, I think there's a couple of things. It's looking at how it's farmed.
Absolutely, 100%.
Because there's a lot of hormones
injected
in the food, that they're feeding the animals with. There's a lot of we have to look at what they're feeding the animals with, how quickly they're farmed, how quickly they're bulked out, and then what happens with that. So, you know, milk, even if we're looking at any animal product, it's looking at how, you know, what's
the
going
process,
that,
isn't it?
Process
I really resonate with that, because I am primarily vegetarian. And it is because of the way that, you know, there is too many people for the amount of food that's able to be produced. So everything is hormones sped up for consumption. And unfortunately, if you're dealing with something like I've struggled with problematic skin, hormonal skin, you know, your body doesn't need any more hormones interfering with that. And I actually feel, for me, from a personal perspective, when I stopped eating red meat, my body was happier. In fact, meat in general, I feel like my digestion, I felt better, sort of digestion and everything. But I think that's the problem. We don't really, unless you don't really know where your food's coming from, do you?
And unless these kind of conversations happen, then you're not going to know.
No, absolutely not. And it's also not until you try it. Like, so many people are so anti, I could never do that. I could never do that. Well, actually, just try a bit of a diet shift and see. You almost learn more when you try to eat more plant-based, because all of a sudden you're faced with, well, I either eat things that say they're vegan, but they're highly processed, or I actually start to explore other foods, you know, foods that maybe you've never eaten before. And that's definitely what I did. I was like, okay, never really eaten this, but let's try it. It almost is like a whole new world, really, to be honest.
I think, you know, if we were to look at our diet, we could probably say that we eat the same 10 foods over the course of a week. And when I'm working with my clients on the programs, I'm like, okay, we're going to aim for 30 different plant-based foods. Let's just see how we go. And they're surprised at how little they're eating. But then also surprised actually how quickly that they can add in something extra or try something extra. And I think sometimes we can feel really overwhelmed because we have so many different, we hear so many different, we should be eating this, we should be eating this, we should be eating this.
Yeah, there's so much like conflicting information, isn't there? It's really difficult to know what you should be doing. And there's a variety of different opinions about these topics. And that's the thing, like, these are just our opinions. And for you, from your experience of, you know, working with people and going through that process. But it's like I always say about the skincare industry, it's really overwhelming because it's really noisy. There's loads of stuff noise, but I think actually it's what works for you. It's what's simple for you. And actually it feeds kind of nicely onto, again, something else I didn't even think I'd ask you about today, but intolerances. And I did an intolerance test several years ago. So did my husband. And we weren't too shocked. We kind of knew what was going to be there. But it was fascinating. I think I had something like 100 things on mine and I was 100% intolerant to quite a few things. And is that a process you go through with clients? Do you find that intolerances is quite a big thing? I know I do it with skin for my clients if they're really struggling and we're not managing to heal things. I'm like, there's something else triggering this. So do you find that something you do a lot with clients?
I've experienced intolerances myself and worked with many clients with intolerances. I think what's important to say about intolerances is that they are different to allergies. And they can be improved, corrected,
absolutely,
eliminated.
Yes.
It's more about actually the biggest contributor to intolerances is first of all having an unhappy gut.
Yeah.
And secondly, not having a variety within your diet.
Yes.
And actually, if you focus on those two things, you'll see a huge difference.
Yeah, I definitely saw that because I had lactose as 100% intolerant. I moved to plant milk, which was a great move for me. I have no regrets. I tried to have almond milk instead of, dairy milk. I'm not a baby cow. I don't need dairy milk all the time. But obviously, if I have something like ice cream, but actually, after I would say 18 months, I could have 3 scoops of ice cream and there would be no issue with my digestive system at all. But before, it would be like, oh my God, red alert, your body's just really unhappy. So I feel like it's an interesting one. It is so different to an allergy, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I think it's just reminding ourselves that where we are right now, within our health, within our skin, emotionally, physically, whatever, it's not our permanent destination. We can change.
Yeah, you have the ability.
Anything.
Yeah, you have the ability.
And if we can't change it, we can turn the dial down.
Yes.
And we can equip ourselves with different knowledge, try different things, and really empower ourselves to know what we're doing, what's going on, and try different things to help that.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the gut and mind connection.
Yeah.
So, sometimes it's no coincidence that if somebody is really stressed, for example, and their mind is like really busy and they're anxious, they don't want to eat, or they might have unsettled stomach, or food isn't digesting. So there's a very clear connection.
Yeah.
But what do you think kind of creates that connection, like on a beyond my knowledge, basically, just what I can guess.
The gut and emotional health or mental health and mood, they are so closely linked.
Yes.
And in a couple of ways. So stress, first of all, stress kills off the good gut bacteria.
Yes.
So and then often with stress, something else comes in, lifestyle factors. We might drink more, we might eat more crappy food. We might
diet goes out the window and just, flight or fight mode, basically.
And those things impact the good gut bacteria. And we need good gut bacteria because apart from all of the other things that it has involvement with, it also plays a role in producing 95% of our serotonin. So we need to really nurture that good bacteria for many, many reasons, but that's just one of them.
Yes.
But earlier I mentioned about the physiological connection between our emotional health and our physical health.
Yes.
And just to talk about that as well, because I love the vagus nerve.
Yes,
vagus nerve junkie.
I'm so interested,
We have a nerve. It's actually 2 nerves, but we talk about it as one.
Yes.
It runs from the base of our neck throughout our whole body and stops at the anus.
Okay.
Our bottom.
Yeah.
And vagus means wandering. So it wanders out into the rest of our body and it's connected to all of our vital
is it
organs.
like that little tree, when you kind of see like the nerves in the body? Yeah. Okay, yes.
So, we've got nerves everywhere, but this particular nerve, it comes out into our earlobes. It's connected to our vocal cords.
Yes.
It's like it really wanders out.
Yeah.
Now, this nerve is activated and working when we're in a happy, calm, peaceful, safe space, or we feel that within us.
Yes.
But when we move into the stress zone and we're operating in fight or flight, this nerve becomes deactivated, so it switches on.
Yes.
Because the nerve is connected to your liver, which is your main hormone pathway. And also with the liver, there's a lot of your immune system. It's your hormone pathway. Yeah. It's your immune system. Yeah. There's so much and bile production. Yeah. There's so much within the liver that gets switched off. So the vital organs get switched off, including the colon. People that are stressed, actually they find their bowel movements go one way or another.
Yes.
But very often they become less and less.
Yeah.
So then what you find is your body becomes more toxic.
Yes.
But because this nerve is a two-way highway of messages. So messages from the gut go up to the brain.
Yeah.
Messages from the brain come down into the gut.
Yeah.
So they're communicating
so
all
free
the time.
flowing both ways.
This is a brain-gut axis.
Yes.
People have heard of it, or brain-gut connection.
Yes.
This is via the vagus nerve.
Yeah.
So it's, when we think of it like that, we can really, this is a physiological connection.
Yes.
So we can really see that, you know, it's not just a bit, it's not kind of a loose claim that when you're stressed, your physical health is impacted. Like there's a real connection.
There's actual
here.
science behind it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
So when our gut is unhappy, we're going to be sending messages back to the brain that, you know, to really fuel that low mood.
Yes.
But also when we're feeling stressed, it's having an impact within the body via this nerve.
Yeah. Yeah.
And everything then becomes just really hard to function.
Do you think that having, say, a really poor diet, I mean, an example is just living off of junk food, and do you think that has a link to people's like depression?
Yeah.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
I haven't had a client yet that has gone through the process that we've gone through the process together.
Yes.
Whose mood hasn't
improved,
been lifted or improved.
Yeah.
There's a real, when we understand what's in our food, the preservatives, the nasties, the sugar, the sweeteners, all of the things that are actually quite foreign to our body.
Yeah.
That it has to process. Yeah. And then do something with. All of those things have an impact. Yeah. On our mood.
And I feel like it's a fairly new thing. I mean, many years ago, when there wasn't so many processed, basically foods that might last like 10 years because they've got that many additives in them. They didn't have things like that. You know, they ate a very simple, seasonal, fairly clean diet. And I find it difficult when I go shopping, actually, because I look at the packets of everything and I'm like, I can't buy half of this stuff. There's so much in it. Or I'm there on Google, like, what is this additive? Is it safe to eat? You know? Yeah. And I guess it's harder actually to eat healthy because it does require that whole process of checking what's in everything. But it's just so interesting that depression is such a massive thing. Yeah. It's like it's on the rise. And probably one area people wouldn't look, you know, so much blame on like social media, for example. But what about what people are actually consuming? Yeah. What's going on in the body? Yeah. Because I think it's no coincidence that the better you eat, the better you look after yourself, the better you actually feel, you know? 100%. So it's such an interesting one. So if I can just bring it back to skin a little bit. Yeah. Have you ever suffered with your skin? Have you ever had any skin concerns?
Very fortunate, I have to say, that I have never really suffered in a way that I've seen many clients and friends suffer.
Yes.
I might be just one of the lucky ones. Yes. Or it could come, you know, to having the knowledge from a really young age.
That's it. When you're a therapist in this kind of field, I guess you kind of have fairly good habits, and you know what you're sort of looking for. And
I have seen changes in my skin at points of time.
Yes.
So I've seen the like when I was pregnant, and I did have a kind of areas of, I'm not going to say acne because I think that would be really insulting, but really congested, you know, red spots.
All those hormone changes.
And then, but I have been very fortunate with my skin.
Which is good. And I think, again, it feeds into if you're actually fueling your body well and everything, you know, everything else, basically. It all feeds in to each other, doesn't it? So, right, let's move on to supplements. Yeah. So I love the topic of supplements. Yeah. I love supplements. I take lots of supplements, but a bit like you, I have underlying health condition. I have a hormonal condition, and I'm much more of a holistic healer, natural healer. I'd rather take supplements than medication, essentially. And I'd rather not, you know, mask problems with anything. And let's just really, you know, focus on health. Yeah. So do you feel like supplements are an important role? Obviously, ideally we get everything through our diet, but we just don't a lot of the time. So,
and this is it. I think supplements 100%. I mean, that's what they do. They supplement our diet when we're falling short of something. They're there just to bridge the gap and fill in what we're missing. And you know, when I think I read somewhere that now to really hit our nutritional markers, we should be eating 7 fruit and veg every day, or portions of fruit and veg. And I just feel like with our lifestyle now, and also around that with the stress that we're exposing to, maybe the tea and the coffee that we're drinking, that we're depleting ourselves of vitamins, that actually supplements play a really important role now. Probably more than they've ever done before.
Do you take many supplements yourself?
So for myself, I take a probiotic. Omega-3, just to obviously omega is really good for the gut, reducing inflammation. But also just keeping your stool just
and
nice and
the brain function as well, omega-3, isn't it? It kind of helps with your, you know, that side of things.
Health and protection of your cells and things as well. But also alongside that, I would take a digestive enzyme as well, because we are what we absorb. So if we're not actually digesting properly, we could be eating a really good diet, but if we're not digesting properly, then we're not actually getting the food, the nutrients from our food. And then I take multi things.
To make sure you're getting your vitamin C, your vitamin D, all of those things. It's quite funny because I think that when it comes to skin health, I have clients coming in, they're so willing to buy topical products. They're like, amazing, all exciting, can't wait to smell it, try it, feel it. When it comes to supplements, they're a bit like, you know, really not sure. But the power of healing inside and what I've seen that do for the skin is incredible, really. You know, I've seen people who have suffered with acne, antibiotics, this, that, and everything. As soon as they introduce something that they are deficient in, or maybe been depleted by sort of like antibiotics, like you say, probiotics. And I often face map with clients, okay, where are the breakouts? Forehead, you need a probiotic. You've got some kind of, you know, sluggishness to that digestive system. I absolutely love supplements, but I just feel like a lot of people just don't get it. They don't get excited about it because they don't know the power of it, essentially.
I think, again, it just comes back to educating and seeing, you know, it's not medication.
No.
But before medication, you know, we were eating what we
actually needed.
Our foods were more nutritionally dense and were holding more nutrition. And we're really missing that now.
Do you think some of that's actually down to the way things are farmed? Again, we're talking about like very large population and things need to be produced very quickly for the masses. And I guess that does affect the quality of what is grown, unless you're physically growing it yourself at home. And anybody who's ever gotten down that path will realise, oh my God, this is a long game. You know, all of a sudden when you go into a shop and buy something like some tomatoes, something, you're like, oh, that was so easy compared to growing it. But, you know, because things are produced on the masses, you know, it must have some impact on that nutritional value. You know, they must be more fertilized.
It's just asking yourself, you know, actually how much of what I'm eating is its own food, its own ingredient, or it's in its purest form. And even if you're having a tomato-based meal, is that like a dolmio, or is that something that you made yourself? And it's like really just asking yourself, am I making am I making a good choice, really?
Choices. I think that's when it's like a light bulb moment. But once you've started to cook more from scratch, you soon realise that is the best way. And it tastes better. So
100%.
100%. Tastes a lot better. So what would you say the signs are that somebody needs a detox, whether that be mind, whether that be gut, both basically?
So I feel like many of these are what people are living with day to day, that haven't really kind of joined the dots of. So skin being one of them. headaches, energy is a big thing, like that real waking up in the morning after a night's sleep feeling tired and unmotivated. But actually, to go through a detox, you can detox at any point.
Yes.
But if you've ever been on medication, if you've ever been poorly, if you've ever actually just gone through a period of not eating very well.
Yes.
And because detoxing isn't what we actually true detoxing and going through a detox process isn't drinking a skinny tea.
Oh no.
It is like it's actually supporting
intense,
your
isn't
body.
It? Yeah.
Well, it is and it isn't.
Yeah.
So I
guess it doesn't have to be if you're making it quite simple for people, but I think
you can't starve your way through detox. Your body needs it's fuel. Remembering that your body is detoxing anyway.
Yes.
And really detoxing just means like abstaining from toxins, things that are harmful to the body, which we find in our fast food and
our environment,
refined food and alcohol and all of those kind of things.
Yes.
And it's supporting your body in eliminating those toxins from the cells as well as the colon and all those kind of things. So there's a real process to it.
Yeah.
But even like bloating, sluggish bowel movement, less than once a day.
Yeah. It's a sign, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a sign that you need a detox. I think it's interesting, the long-term medications. So like a lot of people have been on antibiotics for a really long time and let's keep going with antibiotics. And as soon as things look a bit angry, it's like, well, actually, that long-term use is not doing any long-term good, is it? So,
and it's also, antibiotics kill off the good and the bad bacteria.
Yes.
Which is what you need in that moment. But unless you are replenishing the gut of the good bacteria again, I always say after any course of antibiotics, go on 3 months worth.
Probiotic.
At least probiotic.
Yeah.
And support the good bacteria with a prebiotic. So
I wish that some more people would get that, because I've seen girls go through process with skin. Let's do 3 to 6 months of antibiotic. Yeah. Okay, all the bacteria, all the bad bacteria should be dead by this point. So they come off and then breakouts start to reappear. And it's almost like, okay, let's go to like probiotics, let's heal, let's nurture, let's just do that side of things. Yeah. But the very instant, because people are so concerned and stressed about their skin, is let's go back on antibiotics. Yeah. It's like because you're fighting fire with fire, basically. Yeah. So I just find it, really fascinating. Yeah. Really, really fascinating.
So bacteria is let's say, a living thing. It needs nurturing. It needs looking after. It's very delicate. It's affected by antibiotics.
Yes.
It's affected by crappy food.
Yeah.
Stress.
Yeah.
Many of our lifestyle choices affect the good bacteria.
Yeah.
And so then when we're left with, an abundance of bad bacteria, it's going to have an impact.
Absolutely. Wow, I feel like I could literally talk for hours.
So many things.
Yeah, I feel like I could keep going though, but I feel like now that we're at like 40 minutes, I probably should cut this off. But thank you so much. It's been so interesting, and I feel like I'll put all of your tags and everything on there if people, if in need of a detox, can get in contact with you. And especially the mindset thing, I think that's really interesting. And I think, so many people, like you say, are walking around living with these kind of, symptoms and things. Sometimes it just needs that light bulb moment that actually I need to go and speak to somebody who knows their stuff. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining me. And like I said, I'll tag you in everything so people can find you.
Thank you.